According to the Financial Health Network, over 50% of Americans don't have enough money saved on hand for a $500 emergency. And worldwide, more than 1 billion adults struggle to manage their financial lives. We're joined now by Nichol King, first ever CCB Community Manager located in the Harlem, New York branch, to share how we can improve our financial health and build good money habits. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me, Melita. I'm excited.
Nicole, it's not just low-income households or certain geographies that are struggling with poor financial health. Can you talk about what we're seeing and how we got here?
You know, Melita, when I think about that number, 50% is absolutely staggering. It makes me really understand that me and my team still have a lot of work to do as it relates to getting out into communities and teaching financial education. But what we're seeing is that households have not really got up and personal with their money. They don't know where their money is going. So what we like to always talk about with communities is the importance of having a sound budget, which is really the foundation of any financial plan.
And how has the pandemic impacted people's savings accounts and their financial habits?
Yeah, the pandemic has really wreaked havoc on communities globally. So if we learned nothing from the pandemic, we learned the importance of really saving for the unexpected. And when I think about the pandemic, I've really seen how people weren't prepared. They didn't have the recommended 3 to 6 months of living expenses set aside for emergencies. So they were really in dire situation. I think it was an awakening for a lot of people. A lot of people really understood that, you know what, I have to do better with my money. I really have to understand how to manage my expenses.
And what tips do you have for people to help improve their financial health? Is there a certain amount of money we should all be putting into our savings each month?
Yeah, so experts typically say that one should have between 3 to 6 months of expenses set aside for the unexpected. Now, whether it's 3 months or 6 months depends on the household, right? So if it's a two-income household, experts say that you can get away with 3 months, but if it's a single earning household, 6 months is really the safety net. I always like to err on the side of caution to say to have 6 months so you can be comfortable.
And what about people who, after paying all their bills each month, don't have extra money to put into their savings? How can they start to build good money habits?
You know, that's a great question, and I always challenge clients and members of the community when they say to me, I don't have enough money to save. I ask them to take a look at their bank statement. Okay, how often are you using rideshare companies? How often are you making breakfast or lunch and bringing it to work, right? So those things, if you start small, instead of eating out or buying lunch 5 times a week, cut back maybe to 3 times a week. And the money that you save on those 2 days, you put it into a savings account. Start small. Make sure that the goal is SMART. Make sure that it's specific, measurable, actionable, relevant, and time-bound. And I use that acronym because it helps you stay on course. Because so often we have so many competing financial priorities, but when you rely on your SMART goal, it's usually you stay the course when things get challenging. So that's the first thing I would say. The next thing that I would say is use your resources. So here at Chase, we have amazing resources to help communities improve their financial health. One of them is AutoSave, right? With our AutoSave feature, you can save as little as $1 a week, right? And again, start small because I always say that it is the systematic behaviors that's going to help improve your financial health. Most people are not born wealthy, they acquire wealth over time.
First ever CCB Community Manager, Nichol King, thank you so much for being here and sharing all of that information with us.
Thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed this.